Hi and welcome to my channel. So as the saying goes, your co-workers are not your friends. What this means is that when you go to work, your colleagues, you need to eat with a very long spoon. If you're somebody who is out of the UK, it doesn't matter. This applies everywhere. But if you're in the UK, it's even more important and applies even more. So what are we talking about today? How should you behave at work? You need to be careful what you're sharing. You need to be careful every time you open your mouth. Measure every single thing that you're saying as well as who you're saying it to. But most importantly, if there's one thing you're going to take from this video, it is trust no one. When I say no one, I mean including yourself. So if you're new to my channel, you're welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, I appreciate your time. If you haven't joined this family, hit the subscribe button below because you 100% want to be the first person that is notified every single day when I drop a new video on here. I'm somebody that I'm very passionate about career progression opportunities in the UK, free visa sponsorship opportunities and jobs to move to the UK if you're looking to relocate, or if you're already in the UK looking to switch. Again, I'm your girl because I love all of these things. And that's a journey also that I've had, starting out from a carer, in a nursing home, to now being an advanced nurse practitioner, which is the most senior clinical nursing job that there is in the profession. So I've had my own fair share of learning, disappointments, experiences, and just everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, that comes with this job. So I have a free newsletter, by the way. I've dropped a link in the comment section below where I share information about the things I've spoken about: job opportunities, visa sponsorship, career progression paths, how do you progress in your career, interview preparation, organizations recruiting, and all of that. It's free to join. You drop your name and email address and you're part of it. You're also going to see my contact details in the comment section below. There's my WhatsApp number as well as my email address. And if you need to contact me directly, you're thinking Melvis, I'm in deep shit right now, if I can permit myself to say that, then I need some help, I need some support. What do you think I can do? Then I can support you with all of that. I say this because I know that there's a lot that is going on at the moment. I empathize with everyone who is going through all of that because I know that it's a very sensitive topic. Because like I say, I deal with a lot of these things, and I tell you that it is sad and it is hard, but it needs to be spoken about. And that's why I'm using certain terminology, to talk about this, because I understand what it entails. By the way, where are you watching this video from? Drop that in the comment section below. Where are you watching that video from? Where are you currently? Just drop that in the comment section below so that I can know exactly what's going on where you are. And when it comes to this issue about colleagues not being your friends, co-workers not being your friends, what do you think about it? Do you agree? Do you think you should be besties? What are your beliefs? But let me tell you something. The first thing is long-term career goals. Look, if you tell somebody what your long-term career goals are, do you think that's a good idea or not? Drop a comment in the comment section below. Should you tell your co-workers, your manager, the people that you're working with, what your long-term career goals are? For example, you want to become, I don't know, a manager, head of the department, a consultant, whatever. Is it a good idea to tell them? What I'll say is you need to be very measured with what you're sharing. Very measured, because when it comes to career progression, I have personally seen instances where somebody has not been successful for an interview, and I've taken somebody who has lesser experience, like fewer qualities, that you look and you think, why on earth did this person get this job instead of this one? And it's simply because of the things that they have set at work previously. And that's why when you're trying to progress within the same area where you are, it is very difficult. It's easier to progress in a new place, which means if you're applying for a senior position, it's easier to get it in a different department, different place than where you're already working. The reason for that is where you're already working, people know who you are. People know what some of your plans are. People know what your weaknesses are. People know the kind of person that you are. Not necessarily because those things are bad, but it's just that they know those things. And again, that's why certain things that when you're sharing, you need to be careful. It doesn't mean you're hiding things, but it just means that you're wearing the persona that you're expected to be. I'm going to give an example myself. If I'm sat here, I'm doing this video on YouTube. I'm sat here as a career coach. I'm not sat here as Melvis. I'm not sat here as a mom. I'm not sat here as a wife. I'm not even sat here as your friend, because obviously you and I are not friends. You know what I mean? You're not watching this video because you want to be my friend. And I'm not sharing this because I want us to be friends. I'm just sharing this because it is fact and that's what happens. So that's what I'm saying. You need to wear the persona that is expected of you, which means if you go to work, you need to become that person, that role, You become that person. The fact that you're a mom, you're a daughter, you're a wife, you're a husband, you're a dad, you need to measure how much of that is kind of controlling your emotions. I say this because there are some people that will say, oh my God, you just have to be yourself. People have to accept you for who you are, or they don't like you, or you should get rid of them. That's not how life works. Anytime that you present yourself, you need to become that person at that time, which means if you're a mom or a husband or a dad, when you are at home or wherever, you need to know when to have that role, as a mom or as a dad. If you're a wife, husband, you need to know where to have that role as a wife or husband. If you're a teacher, you need to know where to have that. If you are, when I go to work, for example, I present myself as an advanced nurse practitioner. I'm not presenting myself as a career coach, because that's not why I'm there. I'm presenting myself as a nurse, but specifically as an advanced nurse practitioner. If I go to church, I'm presenting myself as a Christian, not as a nurse, because no one cares in church the fact that I'm a nurse. If I present myself on YouTube, that's the example I was giving, I'm presenting myself here as a career coach. I'm not presenting myself here as a daughter, as a mom, as a nurse, even. Sometimes I can borrow different aspects of that, but that's what they mean when they say take on the role that is expected of you at that point in time. You cannot just be yourself and say, hey, this is how I am, this is how I'm going to be. You either accept me or leave it. I mean, there's an element of your own personality and your own values and all of that, but you need to always wear the persona that is expected of you. For example, with me, I'm somebody that no matter where I am in terms of my values, I'm very keen on personal development, on productivity, on career progression, and I'm a huge advocate when it comes to early retirement, and looking for ways to be able to earn more money, work less, and retire early, which means that no matter where I am and what I'm doing, I have that hat on that is thinking, Melvis, I don't want to be doing 20 hours, of work. I don't want to do any extra shifts. I'm not into any of that. And so that is always into my person. But at any given time, you need to know which persona has to be a higher percentage compared to all the other ones. And this is really where the key is. When you know the differences, to know that, okay, I'm presenting at work as a carer today, you're going to be so good. You're going to be so good, and it'll be easier for you to choose what you're sharing and what not to share. Another thing is also sexual orientation. When it comes to sexual orientation, look, in the UK, they don't mess around. It's something that you need to be careful as well. If you've got some really strong views, nobody wants to hear those views. You're going to think, oh, I'm just having my meal. This is my break time. I'm not actually at work, but it still counts because you're in a work environment. So again, you need to be very careful the things you're talking about. Also, when it comes to religious views, they are just as, I don't know, slippery as any other views. You need to be very careful because some of us have very strong, religious affiliations, and I mean that's fine, but you don't mix that up with your job. That's why I'm saying that you cannot just come out and say, hey, this is who I am, you either accept me or not. That is not how it works. You need to suppress certain things in certain areas and then increase, that in other areas. That's the reality of it, and that's what you need to take from this video. There's also other things such as challenges. What challenges are you facing? You need to be very careful what challenges you're sharing and which ones you're not, and with who. Because, for example, I have also seen people in practice, that have missed massive opportunities because of the challenges that they have shared that they are facing. You may think I'm sharing my challenges so that I can get support, but sometimes it kind of backfires, and people look at you and think, is Melvis going to be good enough if she's going through XYZ? If Melvis is currently going through this, should we give her this opportunity? There is all of that comes in. Those are things that should not come into work relationships, but because I have shared those things, they will naturally be considered. So it's obviously difficult to list every single thing, but it is to say that you need to be very careful, you need to be very smart, you need to trust nobody, including yourself, because you're gonna mess yourself up really, and it's not very good. And like I said, there are people that own sponsorship in the UK that have had their sponsorship cancelled. They've had their visas cancelled just because of something that they said, thinking that it was just an innocent thing. They didn't mean anything bad, they were just being simple and all of that, but it's kind of turned out to be a really, really massive thing. Another thing also is, if you're talking about other people, don't think, oh, this is my bestie, I can tell her anything because look, that person may be your bestie, but they've got their own bestie. So when you tell them something, they'll go and tell their own bestie, who will tell their own bestie. And by the end of the day, everybody's got their own bestie who is different from who their bestie is. And it's just really messy. You don't want to get into messy affairs. I'm somebody that none of us is perfect. I'm not perfect either, but when I'm at work, I know how to try to maintain my boundaries and keep my things to myself. Yes, because you need to learn to do that. You have to interact, socialize. Are we saying don't interact, don't socialize? Obviously not. Are we saying you shouldn't be networking? Obviously not. But we're saying mind what you say, please. Mind what you say, because your mouth is going to make or break who you become. Learn to have the best version of yourself that is expected at that point in time. And I tell you, success will be yours. If you know anyone that can benefit from this, please share with them. And if you need to contact me, check the comment section below and you see my contact details. I appreciate you for watching till now. And just leave a comment and say, Melvis, I'll mind what I share. Check this out.